family out for another drive, going over some more topays in my antiquated combustion engine vehicle over a concrete and asphalt road that needs annual replacement. Fill the patches and then they disappear and reappear. Just a really bad business model. And I was just wondering, you know, because I've driven in a lot of countries all over the world. And everywhere you go, same old story. I mean, driving on these highways, motorways, carreteras, autobahns, whatever word you want to give for it. And the price that you pay for the petrol in your car, in theory, well, I'm guessing, I don't know what else it could be used as tax for, because the cost of production and distribution per gallon is about maybe 20 cents. I don't know where it had been. Maybe about 20 cents to a gallon. And the other $6.80 to gallon, or what? Here it's like roughly it's getting on $5 a gallon down here. So do the math. I don't know. If your capital outlay is about 20 cents to the gallon and you're turning around and selling it for, so your capital outlay is 1/5 of a dollar, and then your return is going to be, we'll just take a very conservative estimate and say $5 per gallon. I don't know, do the math, family. That's too many zeros in my head. But you get my point. You know, as they say, to bear the burden of the extraordinary cost of maintaining our illustrious highways and roads and things, right? That we need to incorporate this tax, aka this. Let this guy go by. I've been in some places where, I guess I could say, well, probably Belgium was the worst. People had an effective tax rate of 150%. I swear to God they did. They just never seen so much money going to waste. So anyhow, on my drive, the Rant, as I was going down these roads, dodging all the potholes and looking at all the repairs from last year, which are already coming apart, and we've only had our first rain. So, you know, it's just like this never, how do I say? It's a self-licking ice cream cone is what I'm trying to say. It's military terms. Let me think of a civilian way to put it. Guaranteed permanent employment. That's the word, I suppose you could say, from a business perspective. making myself impossible to put out of business. Impossible to ever even wonder where I might, get my next few $1 trillion or whatever, And in this way, those families, they don't really have to work, right? So they're not really out there. There's no necessity. There's no need in their life. Everything's provided, so there's no... And necessity is the mother of all invention. That's why we're still driving around on concrete that's been poured over Mother Earth so that the rain cycle can be blocked and the water tables can fail to replenish. As it does. It comes down from the sky, hits the earth, and then it goes through a huge filtration process that Mother Earth has in place just for us, because, she's intelligent design, and the water filters through and it feeds all the plants and the roots of the trees and everything, right? This is Mother Earth's intelligent design. And the sacred water, obviously, the intelligent design of the sacred water, so you should kind of pay attention to things like this. So as that rain comes down, it filters through, goes all the way down, and it fills up the water table so that we have what? Drinking water. That's right. Clean water. Cleaned, not filtered water, ripped off from Mother Earth and taken in a truck and put into a processing plant and then put into a plastic bottle and then thrown onto the back of a truck and then delivered to your TM dot. And that's not the natural at all. It's not renewable for sure. It's not sustainable for sure. But there you go. This is perspective. So I'm just wondering, driving down these roads here, all these topes and everywhere, trying to make you slow down, and sign everywhere, a sign, right? Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the sign? Perhaps I could read the sign, but do I need to read the sign? Is it a sign that's going to tell me what I should and shouldn't do? Is it a sign that's going to tell me how fast I should and shouldn't go? Do I need a tope? I'll stop right on top of the tope. Do I need a tope? Can I use my eyeballs and my own observation? And I have a little situational awareness and know the appropriate speed. No, child. You must have a government put up another sign. And by the way, as you're driving down that road and you do or don't see that sign, know that your suspension's being torn up at least, I'm gonna say, at least 80 to 90% faster than it would do normally. But that's okay, slave. Don't worry. We're gonna gunk up your engine long before your car will actually fall apart. The motor will do so because of all the corn syrup we put to gunk up your engines and make your planned obsolescent vehicles even more obsolescent, more prone to operational failure. Yes, family, it's true. We used to be able to buy vehicles that would last. I'm not kidding. 50, 60 years. For real. I'm not playing. For real. I'm not kidding. And so, well, because okay, yeah, it's a problem, but that's just another way of saying that's a, how do you say, try to switch hands here. It's a problem, but that's just another word for, a solution waiting to unfold. Provided you didn't download any viruses in your corona chakra. So, oh my god, I literally had a walk through a zombie apocalypse movie this morning. I swear I should have a film crew with me. I don't know, because it seems like other people see these things, but they don't see them. Like, interesting. And here's something else that people don't see. They wouldn't even bother to acknowledge or consider, because it's outside the box and you're not allowed to ask questions, slave. But you know me, that's one thing I'm famous for, is asking too many questions. Everybody that knows me since I was knee-high to a grasshopper will tell you something along those lines. Tara, she was always a shit disturber. She'd try to upset the... throw a wrench in the matrix, make it be a divergent. So, in a divergent sort of modus operandi, you could say, I just can't help but, like, say, well, because, like, here we are paying all these taxes at the pump to pay for these roads, right? And then we're paying more taxes to maintain them, in theory, because that's why they have these things called the, oh, I forget the name in Spanish, cajeros, something. It means a toll booth. And, you know, I can ask the question, like, if just say hypothetically, if I travel X far of a distance in my own car, my POV, I'm not a commercial vehicle, I'm not transporting goods, I'm not in the retail, resale, import, export business, just me and myself, just trucking along. And if I know I can pay X number of thousands of pesos or euros or dollars, whatever, for instance, on the motorway or on the highway, if I travel, you know, a long distance, you know, let's say more than a couple hundred miles or more than 400 or 500 kilometers, and then I know, you know, I'm gonna get X number of tolls. So I can sort of extrapolate, and very, very, very much erring on the side of caution, because there's a lot of presumptions herein. But I could say, hypothetically, if there was a very conservative estimate of X number of millions of vehicles, privately owned vehicles on the road, as well as you know, X number of commercial vehicles. And by the way, the commercial vehicles, I don't even know where I'm supposed to look now. Here, I think. The commercial vehicles, they pay like double, if I remember correctly, they pay double. And then motorcycles, you know, have a lighter toll to pay. But I sort of like kind of just eyeballing things when I say, you know, probably like 75% of the population on the roads driving in a POV, maybe a handful of motorbikes on the motorway, not too many, but then the rest of them is pretty much trucks. So I can extrapolate and apply the tolls and move it over the course of the distance to say, okay, and then that's just this much distance, but how much distance is there across north, south, east, and west, and all over, like, say, the country that I'm living in? How many highways do they have? How many toll booths? How many, you know, thousands or tens of thousands of kilometers or miles do they have, right, where they could be collecting these tolls, and just always erring on the very, very, very conservative side. I mean, like, so conservative, even like, it's definitely at least this much, all right? But it could be more. Forget the taxes at the pump, right? Forget all those. Oh my gosh. I can't even do there's not enough zeros to describe the return on investment for the people that we buy the petroleum from. And just insane amount. Like, imagine if you went to the pump and you actually paid, I don't know, let's say 20 cents per liter to cover the production, and then you give the business owner a pretty nice return on investment of another 20%. So, let's just say then in that case, you're going to pay 25 cents, 25 pesos. Oh, it would be 25 cents. Be like, I don't know how many pesos that is. Around 15 pesos, something like that. That's a pretty good return on investment, right? It's a very good return on investment considering you have a monopoly. But anyway, I digress. Just set aside all those untold, I don't know if trillions is the right number, whatever comes after that, however many zeros, I don't know. But it gets better. So going back to my very conservative estimate and extrapolated over time and distance, let's say, could come up with a very conservative estimate of, and I mean a daily, let me say that again, just in case you missed it. The toll booths alone, in the place where I am living, which is not nearly as bad as some of the places I've seen throughout Europe and Australia, New Zealand, Japan, really the whole rest. This place here is probably the cheapest tolls you can find at this moment to drive on the motorway. So again, did I mention this is like extremely conservative estimate? Because they own all the highways in all the Americas. So, a very conservative estimate for a daily revenue at the toll booths on the highways in Mexico was 420 trillion. That's right. 420 with, what is that? 9 zeros or 12 zeros. Sorry. 420. No, you're right. Sorry. 420 and then put 9 zeros after that. That's 420. And bear in mind, that's a daily revenue. If I tried to generate a monthly or annual revenue, well, my calculator just returns an error after so many zeros. You see? So for that amount of money that's being collected for the proposed, sorry, try not to laugh, for the reason of maintaining our highways. Oh boy, I'm just saying, family, I am nowhere near the smartest person out there. I am nowhere near the sharpest tool in the box, especially when it comes to like technical stuff and, engineering and things like that. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. I got some ideas. And I'd love to work with some other smart people to see what we can come up with. Of course, we need to have our laboratory, and we need to have some frequency generators and some specific type of materials for the fuselage, or for the body of the vehicle, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna promise you, if you just gave me 1 day's income from the toll booths alone in Mexico, one of the cheapest places to drive on the highway pretty much anywhere on the planet, I could have us some prototypes. Yes, sir. Sure could. Have some prototypes for some anti-gravity vehicles. I'm just saying that's so much money. I can't even get my head around that number of money. It's because I know like how much, it kind of costs to live every month. You got to pay this for rent. You got to pay this, and this. That's your budget for the month. And then you can kind of say, well, I could not imagine a budget of 420 trillion pesos. You're still talking like close to $4 trillion. What could you do with $4 trillion? A lot. And then I wouldn't be driving down these stupid roads in my antiquated combustion engine vehicle, and I wouldn't be up there messing about in those ridiculous Caveman fuselage. I would be getting around a lot more efficiently, and definitely a lot cheaper. Definitely a lot cheaper. I mean, dang. Imagine if you didn't have to pay for petrol, and you didn't have to pay for highway tolls, and and operations and maintenance and repairs and new tires, and imagine. Well, yeah, imagine, because it's possible. But just what do we believe? What do we accept? And I try to drop the C with the Mexican people. I'd be like, whoever I'm talking to, I just got back from fill in the blank, and it cost me this much on the toll booth. Can you imagine that? And she said, oh, but did you go on the new toll booths, or the new highway? Yeah, the new highway we just paid for. Like 420 trillion times over. And she said, well, yeah, that's just the cost of it today. It's just the way it is. It's just, at least you got there faster, so much faster. Is it? Is it? Because there were 4. And I only went family. I went less than 300 kilometers. That's like a little over, I don't know, is that like a little over 200 miles? And 4 spaces on this new carretera that we're paying so much money to 420 trillion pesos a day to drive on. They're repairs. So they had to funnel the traffic down into one lane. So in actuality, the only time I saved from doing it this way or doing it on the old highway, the only difference I saved was about 30 minutes. Was that worth $150? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but damn. I'll always come up with some reason to justify It's just the norm, right? The consensus reality, the group norm. Well, in the group is a bunch of mind-controlled slaves that went to a Marxist indoctrination camp for the first 7 years of their life so that they would never be anything other than a Marxist communist. Having a slave-master relationship with oneself and knowing how to press all the buttons and push all the levers and do these kinds of things, but never being smart enough to, the whole reason why they brought the public education system into being in the first place, right? But I'm digressing. I'm a bit digressing for reasons to not just to tie in the story and say, look, if we weren't also indoctrinated and just so eager to please, go get those good grades and bring home your report card and graduate at the top of your class. I shit you not, I literally saw somebody taking a photo of a 3-year-old child receiving a graduation diploma from preschool. I don't even know why the child's outside of the mother's arms or the father's arms for the first 3 years of their life. Either gotta go to work, pay for shitty highways, and our extremely expensive combustion engine vehicles. Allahum ya Rabbim ya. So, I just leave that with you, family. I mean, everything's a choice. But just what do you see? Like, can you see the choices? Like, no, we can't see the choices. Carso's always built the highways here. And the more concrete we pour, the more we deprive ourselves of water table supply. You get that there's just that little small thing too, right? No, it's all good. Look, you can get there faster than you can go on the other one. Of course. So with that, I carry on my journey. I gotta turn around and go down this dirt road. I just want to throw that out there, family. Just want to say, what you think? And anyone who's ever driven, like I said, Belgium was the worst. It was the absolute worst. I have no words for the racket that is Belgium. I have no words. I feel like it's number one. It really feels like it's number one. I don't know. 28%. Was it 28 or 32? I can't freaking remember. When you bought a house, you had to pay 28% sales taxes on the house. And you can't touch a house in Belgium for less than a couple $100,000 euros. And you had to pay 28% taxes on the sale to you of the house, while the seller was simultaneously taxed a same percentage rate for any capital gains. I'm just saying, some systems are so rigged, so obvious that you'll never get ahead. Like, the only people that can afford to play those kinds of money games are the kinds of people who own Dutch Shell, Royal Dutch Shell, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. That's my rant. While driving on the road. And now I'm going off-road. So, adios, family. Beautiful day. Ciao for now.